Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the Gunner and Chef Show. Beers, bikes, and
Byways. Hello.
that's us. Yay!
Where are these guys from?
Spokane.
Spokane? Isn't that song by Eric Clapton?
Yeah.
If you want to get down on the ground, Spokane.
Big Juicy.
The Big Juicy Show.
Yes.
Born and raised.
Weird name, No-Li.
No-Li.
No-Li, that's the name of the brewery.
You going to the brewery? You got any Lee? No-Li?
No-Li.
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 He quit. He resigned.
Yeah. Kind of a cool looking little can, though. I like it.
Yeah, we do.
The hops and trees and stuff all over
It's
it.
very
all the
green.
splashies.
It's a very beautiful can. There's really not much to it. It just says Big Juicy Pale Ale.
It's a
so
pale ale.
We're excited about it.
Well, one of us is, not me.
In lieu of the can, you get to see the color that's this poured out, and the legs, and the lace, and the head, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Poured out great. It's got a nice head on it, like a typical IPA. I mean, heck, we poured that out
a minute and a half ago.
Yeah. Still floating around on the glass. That's amazing.
It is beautiful. It is 6.1 ABV and 35 IBU.
And see, that's wicked low IBU for an IPA. Most IPAs seems like are 50, 60, 80, 140.
That is true. This one, the can says it's got kind of a mellow bitter and a light malt. So we're excited to give this a try. The color is gorgeous. Kind of a nice little golden color palette.
I'd agree.
Yeah, very, very pretty. The hops involved are the CITRA, the DORADO, which we've done before on the show, and I believe the other one's called BELMA and AZACCA. We've done AZACCA. I don't know about BELMA.
That's a great word. Azaaca.
AZACCA. Anyway, we're going to put some information about those hops down in the description below. How about a nose on this thing?
Yeah, let's see what it smells like.
Are you guys ready? It's not about knowing. It's about your bravery and willingness to learn. And that's why we do this stuff. We want to learn more about beer, and we want to bring that information to you guys. If you guys want to know everything about beer, there are channels all over YouTube that'll tell you everything about beer, but they're not as cool as us, and they're not as funny.
Yeah, not as pretty either.
I'm just kidding. All those guys out there are funnier than heck, and they're very knowledgeable. We've learned a lot from you guys. There's so many channels, we can't even go into them all, but definitely thank you for your tips. You've made us better beer tasters overall.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean,
so we appreciate that.
It's been an amazing journey so far.
Yes, it has, with my friend.
Yes.
Love you, Chef.
Let's sniffer and see what she smells like. It's a lot of S's.
Yes. Hop forward indeed.
Wow, that actually smells really nice.
It's very nice bouquet, boys.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And girls.
I am not an IPA fan. Well, I've already explained that in this video, but usually gives me the pirate face. Everything puckers.
Everything?
Everything. Even my big toe.
Dun, dun, dun.
What are you smelling? What is that? I mean, obviously it's hot.
A lot of citrus, a lot of florally notes. Man, I wish I could put a
but just light.
Maybe a grapefruit citrus and a lemon citrus.
Tickled my nose with the glass. It's just right there, barely touched. Like,
Yeah.
Weird, right? Not that usual punch that you get from an IPA. It's just a nice light scent. I'm actually excited to try this one. Can you believe that?
I actually can. You've come a long way, baby.
Skull. Okay. I was excited.
Extraordinarily smooth.
Yeah, it's puckery. Super hoppy right up front. Pine needles, a little floral, not much citrus. The middle is not hops bitter, but just eating a blade of green grass bitter. That's what it makes me think of.
I've never had bitter grass. In fact,
you never picked a blade of grass and just chewed on it? It's kind of got that...
The green part? Sit around, chew grass. I thought that was a metaphor for talking to each other.
Let me watch it grow.
Oh, that's chew the fat. Sorry.
Definitely not my beer. For me, it is kind of bitter all the way through. It is way too hoppy for my individual palate.
Excellent. And for somebody that likes IPA, you're probably going to love this. I tasted orange, tasted grapefruit, I tasted lemon, a little bit bubbly, a little bit carbonated. It's not bad. I would drink this again. No.
Yeah, it is fairly carbonated. I agree. And by juicy, because you always see that juicy on IPAs. My mouth's salivating like crazy from the bitterness.
That's juicy.
So is the juicy then in reference to actual juice like grapefruit and lemon, orange?
I think absolutely it should be. I mean, if we're throwing out a generic term like juicy, what does that even mean?
Exactly. That's why I was asking.
Technically, anything wet that pops out of something could be juicy.
I was at the mall the other day, and there was a girl in front of me wearing sweats, and it said juicy across her butt, and I thought, ew.
Perhaps maybe that is a blanket statement. I think that most of the terms we throw around are very generic, and a lot of times, if that's the case, you just kind of have to make those determinations yourself. As you try these, try to pinpoint, hey, what is this flavor? What makes this juicy? What makes this dark? What makes it fruity? What are esters, and what are you tasting? What flavors specifically are you getting?
And that's what makes beer tasting, or beer drinking for us anyway, like when we're doing this. And really, we do this when we just go out. I'm like, so what flavors are you getting out of this? And
we don't film it.
Yeah, we're just, I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like going to a car show and what engine is that? What kind of interior? What color of purple is that? It's the same thing with beer. It's fun.
We're here to enjoy beer, give you some more information on it, and learn more about it so that we can be happier when we drink it.
We were talking earlier, and we have our basic formula of the things that we go through and look for in a beer when we're tasting it. The nose, the taste, the different things. If there's something else that you guys would like to know about, a specific thing in the beer, throw it in the comments and let us know, and we can add that to our checklist, basically, of what we're doing.
So here is our checklist. The first thing we want to talk about is, hey, that little guy right there. And to us, the can presentation is a lot.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you're putting a beer out, you want people to take you seriously, make it pretty. Obviously, it's kind of a double standard. I mean, you see a pretty girl and what's inside doesn't necessarily match, or a pretty guy, whatever.
And that's true with beer, too. I've had some great-looking cans that tasted terrible.
Yeah. So presentation isn't necessarily everything, but it's a big thing. If you're putting out a product and you want your drinkers or eaters or whatever it is to know more about it, please put some more info on the can and make it readable for all ages.
Definitely. And I know you're working with a limited space, but things that like I like to know, because I don't like high IBU type of beers. Put that on the can.
Yeah.
I want to know whether it's a 20, a 30, a 40, a 100, before I buy it.
Right. A good example of that is Sockeye. I don't know if they do now, but previously they didn't put 100 IBU on the can. The Daggerfall IPA. That's a lot of IBU, and some people, even people that love hops, are not going to like that.
Yeah, because it's a lot.
It is a lot. I personally love it, but I've been drinking it since I didn't know how many IBU was in it. It didn't matter.
The next thing we do is we pour it out, and how it pours into the glass, what it looks like, what the head's like, how long the head lasts. The SRM, which is how dark the color is. That's the next thing.
The Play-Doh, the Lolibond, all that stuff. After the color is the head, the legs. I mean, what's the head look like? Because a lot of times, if you've got a beer with no head, you're not going to get a lot of nose. Unfortunately, that's just the way that ship sails. Unless it's very, very alcohol-y, because alcohol tends to evaporate no matter what.
Yeah, then we move on to the nose. What smells? Because your nose prepares your mouth. When you smell something, your mouth kind of starts to anticipate and engage thinking what your nose is smelling. And that's really hard to explain, but it just kind of paves the way for it.
Absolutely. And when you smell something, sometimes you'll have a very complex beer and you've got two different things, and your nose kind of finds the average of those things. So you're not picking out one thing specifically and losing the other one. You're getting kind of a collage of those scents.
Yeah, the mix overall. Of course, then we move on to the taste. And the first thing, obviously, is the initial taste. When it hits your mouth, is it super carbonated? Is it bitter? Is it sweet? There's that first initial hit.
Sometimes you can kind of pick out off flavors. Maybe that's intentional, maybe it's not. There are a lot of off flavors. Check the link in the description. There's a little section there that says, why does my beer taste like or smell like this?
Yeah.
And there's a link. There's a link right there with a ton of info. Go to it and check it out. And then you'd mentioned the mid taste.
Yeah. For me, the mid taste, it's almost like my tasters are slow. So I get the initial hit, and it's usually sweet or smoky or malty, sometimes very heavily carbonated. Then it moves into where I'm really pulling the flavors, and that's in the mid taste for me. So you pour it in, you get that whoa, and then all those flavors start to gel, and you can really pull something out, and it's like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time.
There's honey, there's coconut, there's coffee, there's chocolate,
cinnamon,
all kinds of things.
Butter.
That's where all the good flavors come in, are in the middle.
Yeah, they live there.
And once you work that out, and you work into the finish taste.
Yeah, and the finish has a lot to do with nose and what the mouth feels like.
Right, and what settles, and that's
Absolutely.
where you usually get the bitterness out of a beer.
Yeah.
If it's bitter, it's after you've had your swallow, and then here comes this bitterness creeping up over the sides of your tongue and in your mouth, and you're like, whoa, okay, yeah, that's bitter.
The very last step for us is, what is our overall impression of the beer? There are so many beers that are really highly complicated and hard to taste. Some of them you've got to get over the hurdle of off flavors, off smells, the color's wrong. There's just a lot to them. Everything that's good about it, everything that's off-putting about it, that's what we factor into our personal rating of the beer.
Right.
And we try to be fair. In a lot of times we try to be kind. We do our research. It's not, we don't know everything about a beer when we go in, because we think that that's kind of fun to go in cold without a lot of preconceived notions.
Right.
We always try to give you exactly what we're tasting, and we let you know in our star rating.
How did it smell? How did it taste? What did it look like? What was the initial taste? How did it finish? Everything. Okay, there you go. There's our overall impression, Yeah, okay, it was a little bitter on the front, but God, the color was great. The head was awesome. Everything else was great. That's going to boost its number.
There are good ships.
And wood chips.
And ships that sail the sea.
Ah, man. But the best ships are French ships. May they always be.
Thanks, No-Li Brewing. Man, yeah, a very hop-forward beer indeed.
Very.
Thank you from both of our hearts, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, because I got something in my eye.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to dig at it while we're on.